What's up, everybody? I'm spending the worst part of my life timestamping a video by DWFan91, that stands for Doctor Who, and the only thing I can say is I have a new appreciation for Doctor Who and a new fascination. I've watched Doctor Who until season 12. I've watched Peak live on BBC America, but like everything, you fall out. And after watching his 12-hour video on the history, it just made me want to watch more Doctor Who, especially Classic Who. Then I discovered the Classic Who YouTube channel, and then I discovered the audio dramas, and now I'm off, and I'm just loving it. I'm just bathing in it, soaking in it, Doctor Who goodness. Now I gotta talk about Doctor Who, at least my favorite doctors. And one topic that inspired me to talk about it was my two favorite doctors easily, which is right behind Peter Capaldi, Colin Baker. I like his era. And I just can't believe, I can't believe it wasn't well received, but I'll get into it. I love the time period, but I don't know why people didn't like it. But I completely understand why people didn't like it. DW Fan 91 put it the best.
Tragedy struck. The heads of the BBC had been conniving, and they had decided to axe Doctor Who. They cancelled it only a few short weeks into the season, and the fans were not happy. Michael Grade gets a lot of the flack here, and rightfully so, but he is not the only guilty party. So yeah, they tried to get rid of Doctor Who, but what they quickly realised is that they pulled the trigger far too early. The British public were outraged. Fans were outraged, and the BBC was forced to reinstate the show after a year-long hiatus due to the success of season 22, because genuinely, contrary to popular belief, season 22 was very successful. People need to get their timeline straight here, because as you can imagine, Colin Baker, entirely falsely, gets it all dumped on him, even though the decision to axe the show was made because of season 21 with the Fifth Doctor, and it happened before season 22 was even halfway finished. It's literally impossible to say it's Colin Baker's fault. That's just a false narrative perpetuated by haters of his era. Of course, the BBC was then forced to undo the change, but we'll talk about that when we get to the next.
That's to say, go check out DW Fans video. It's pretty good. That video is awesome. I've timestamped by me. It's not finished yet, but give me some time. I'm too busy watching Doctor Who. Other than that, I'm comfortable saying Peter Capaldi is probably my favorite, and Colin Baker is close to, if not 3, because and the audiobooks, they're just so fun and more dynamic, and it fixes the problem people have with the Colin Baker era of Doctor Who. But despite the jacket, you either love it or hate it. I think the legitimate reason to not like it is Perry. It's Perry. Let's talk about Perry. Perry is actually a holdover from the last Doctor, right? We know that. It was Peter Davison's Doctor. My opinion, easily my least favorite Doctor. He was the first Doctor to feel to me like, oh, this is my corporate mandated Doctor. What other Doctor felt like a corporate mandated Doctor who traveled with like too many companions who I still don't know the name of, with no interesting stories, and made me stop watching Doctor Who? But he didn't kill the show. Apparently Colin Baker killed the show. I finished The Chase. I finished What Planet. I love The Enemy of the World. That's peak Doctor Who, by the way. I can finish all the third Doctor's stories. Peter Davis's stories, I haven't finished a single one yet of that Doctor's stories because it's just so boring. I can't finish them. Tom Baker's peak, Peter Davidson, something like that. He's traveling like 3 or 4 people is too much, but that's 80s Doctor Who, right? Like, that's the start of the 80s, and in America at least, I know the 80s for being like more hardcore, a little bit more rock and roll, right? A little more weird, a little more, right? We're getting more independent, more like anti-establishment, that's Colin Baker's Doctor. And it shows in the coat, like they were really trying to do something different, and that's the theme of the coat. And like he goes on an arc, and he's not the nicest person at first, and he's not all there. There's something different in this regeneration, and he's working through that. And Perry's there for the ride. okay? And she's fine. She's a lot better in the audio dramas, I promise. Go on Spotify and look up any Colin Baker Doctor Who audio dramas and you're blessed. They're all good. But I think the best episode, ironically showing and the highs and lows of Colin Baker era, is Mark of the Rani. I'm gonna skip through the plot a little bit, but all you need to know is these guys come into the bathhouse. We're in medieval times, sort of, and this guy's coming to the bathhouse, to take a bath after working in the damn mines all day, and they get gas, and that's the start of the episode. So we have a mystery afoot.
We're being maneuvered off course.
Maneuvered off course. You mean it isn't the TARDIS malfunctioning again?
Malfunctioning? 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 After all the work I've done on it?
Well, I only asked a simple question.
Indeed you did. It was the wrong question.
Well, tell me what's going on.
The time coordinates are constant. It's the location that's being changed.
Being changed. Who by?
By whom? To use your vernacular, I haven't a clue.
Well, can't you override?
Do try not to be so obtuse. What do you imagine I'm trying to do? There's a time distortion. As if there's a time machine nearby.
The Time Lord?
Or a Dalek. Certainly an alien force of some kind.
On Earth.
Now, if you talk to any Doctor Who fan, what they're going to tell you the best part about the show is the characters. It's an episodic show, and it's amazing how episode to episode they make you care about no-name, pointless characters who are only in that episode and they'll never show up again. Maybe they'll show up again, if they were popular enough and we can tell another story with them and connect it to some other stuff. If the writer wants to, of course. But most characters you don't see again. There's a lot of Doctor Who. So the characters we do stay with are super important. And those relationships are even stronger somehow, right? And the Doctor and Perry is our main relationship, right? And the reason he travels a lot of the time is to travel with these companions, to, hang out with the Earthlings. It's cool. And their dynamic, I can see people not liking it, especially back in the 80s, I guess. But also, I'm like, if you don't like their dynamic, you're just too sensitive. I don't know what to tell you. You're too sensitive. That's all I can say. And yeah, the Doctor's snippy with her sometimes. But I find it funny, and she likes it. That's why she stays. But it's also just hilarious, like that who done it, and who he corrects her, say whom. That's in the audio book too. They do that joke in one of the audio stories. I think it's Davros, and it's hilarious. It's more funny in the audio book. Another thing with the Colin Baker stories that I've noticed, they're all kind of the same. Not in the way like they're told the same, but in like the plot is kind of the same. Like the setups are always the same. Perry wants to go somewhere. The Doctor says either sure and don't take her there, or no and does his own thing. or they end up somewhere random because the TARDIS is malfunctioning. This was also the era where every serial almost, he's like, I'm working on the TARDIS. He's like, I gotta fix the TARDIS. I want to make her work new again. And he's like constantly working on the TARDIS, right? Interesting what they're trying to communicate, how they keeps going, like how consistent it is, I guess I should say. Because like that happens all the time. It also is like how they start the audiobooks too. That's why I meant it's so consistent between his era. It's that through line. If you ever wonder why you don't see him working on the TARDIS, it's because he did it already. It's this era. Another consistent theme, right? And we're talking about how this regeneration is going wrong, right? We're exploring some of the cracks and the Doctor and being a Time Lord. Is he don't want to explain anything to her, right? He's kind of sick of explaining himself. in this incarnation. So like and it's a theme for everybody. Like, people ask him questions, and he's just like, "Man, I don't have time," and like, I'm not gonna explain it either. Perry just takes it, which is like, I don't know. It's part of the times. I think is also very true, and people probably don't like to affect facts like that. Like, women act like that, and in the audiobooks they adjust it a little bit. Like, the doctor still acts like him, and he still snaps at her sometimes, and now she just snaps back passive aggressively sometimes, right? And it's fine. Like, that's just their rapport, and they're happy with. Oh yeah, more people get, or we see the people begin to be kidnapped. And the mark of the Ronnie. I don't care about that. We want to hear the Doctor and Perry. They land down on where they're taken. They land down because they're brought here. They're taken here.
Oh, great. Some substitute for Kew Gardens.
Try and look on the bright side. After all, isn't coal just fossilized plant life?
What have you got there?
Tracking device. Registers time distortion. Hoist up your skirts, Perry. Off we go.
And then related to working on the TARDIS, he's like doing more Time Lord stuff. Like looking for time distortions. Usually, in his past lives, he's usually like, I don't want to work for the Time Lords. And or he's like, I'm not looking for time distortions, but if I run across them, I'll fix them, right? He's like, I'm trying to have fun. I'm trying to party. I'm trying to explore planets. But everywhere I go, I find a time distortion. Here, he's looking for them. And it's his companion who's like, can we just go home? And that's why people don't like Perry, by the way. Because that's all that ever comes out of her mouth is a complaint / we should just go home. Why are we even trying to fix this problem? And the doctor's like, I'm not going to leave this problem here for people to die. And he's like, when I can fix it. And Perry's like, but let's just go. This is dangerous. Let's just leave. And the doctor's like, shut up, Perry. And goes and do it anyway. It's like, yeah. And then when Perry talks, he's not even listening to her, which is like, I wouldn't listen to her either. What is she talking about? What is he talking about?
Most of these hedgerows won't exist soon. I mean, in the 20th century. They're being chopped down to improve farming efficiency. My generation's already concerned about the effects on wildlife. Some species of butterfly are almost extinct. Birds, too.
Like, just read the scene. Read the scene, people. And then you wonder why people don't like Perry. Look, the doctor's literally looking for time distortions. He's trying to do something cool. Actually help the world in the timeline. And Perry's like, oh, we're worried in the modern day. She's from the 80s. We're worried in the modern day that all the plant life's gonna die out. The birds and the butterflies are going to stink. And the doctor's like, I could not care less. I've been to the future. They're still there, bro. We're in the future now. They're still there, bro. I mean, it's fine. It's so fine. If it happens naturally, it happens naturally. But it's just like, look, she's literally, they're like, front load all the stuff the BBC want us to say now, and then we'll tell a better story later. And the doctor couldn't care less, bro.
Talking of birds, do you notice anything strange?
Strange.
No birds.
Well, maybe it's the scarecrow.
They're not usually this effective.
Maybe it's the
If the place gives you the
scarecrow.
creeps, let's get out of it.
Look, let's get out of it. Let's just leave. He's like, there's something wrong with this place. Let's just leave. Which is like, I mean, fine. Genuine reaction to have. But we have so many companions before this who are like go-getters and active and pushes the plot and saves the doctor. Let me put that in like big bold letters. The companions save the doctor. We're gonna get into why we don't like Perry. And I love this era. I can watch these stories all day. Perry is still a bottom tier companion. I don't know who fault it is either. It's just the truth. Look at all this plot happening right now. Plot, 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 plot.
What have they got in there? Coal or diamonds?
Machinery. And more specifically, George Stephenson. And he's just
He
about
told me. One of the architects of the Industrial Revolution.
No, I didn't exaggerate. Without his genius, your precious 20th century would be a much sorrier place. But get in there.
Well, that's easier said than... The dog doesn't look as though it's been fed today.
Oi!
This is a long scene.
Where do you think you're going?
To see George Stephenson, where can I find him?
Nobody gets in here without a pass.
Pass? My dear fellow, I'm a VIP.
Those that are attending the meeting will have a special pass.
He said I'm a VIP.
Well, we've been traveling. The pass obviously never reached us.
Then the name will be on the list.
Here, let me see that. Get that dog under control, will you? Now, where we go? Thomas
Look,
Telford.
Perry's just worried all the time, bro. Perry's just worried all the time. We're not even doing nothing. I mean, the dog is worrying a little bit, but like, but Perry's just worrying. Just looks sad.
Well, I'm not totally ignorant. What is the noun for a collection of geniuses? A bevy?
An inspiration of geniuses? Don't know. But I do know that the people appearing at this meeting will transform history.
Well, that's just maybe. But is the name on the list?
An oversight.
Why? A genius too, are you?
I am indeed.
No, I'm
I'm also an inventor. Look.
Oh, I must apologize. The doctor is a little eccentric.
A doctor, is he? Well, maybe I can have a word in the office.
Would you? Thank you.
See?
All right.
One point for Perry. 1 point for Perry, bro. You know, sometimes the doctor don't know how to talk to people. That's another reason why he has the companions, right? To help calm down other people while he go off and do stuff. And like here, he thought, oh, I'll just impress him with my inventing skills, and that didn't work. But then she said, he's a doctor. Oh, a doctor. I'll talk to him. 1 point for Perry, right? And it's more accessible sometimes. We're gonna focus on Perry because the doctor does something really clever too in this scene, and he's captured by the master, and he's tied up to a metal bed, right? He's tied up, and Perry is like looking for him. Perry's like, I'll just explain it. I'll just explain it. Remember the bathhouse from earlier, right? That's where all this is happening. The doctor figured that out, and he went undercover at the bathhouse. Then he got kidnapped like the rest of the people, and then you figure out what happened at the bathhouse. And the doctor is held by the villain as well as the master, aka the master and Narani. And Perry's gonna help get the doctor free because she's the companion, okay? She want to go home. She needs him.
Doctor?
Right? And she's like, all right, I know he went in the bathhouse. I got to go after him, see what happened to him. And she literally just stumbles
What do you mean
in.
stop? I was going to free you.
Don't come any further. Touch me, and their orders are to kill.
She just stumbles
I
into
just-
where he's
I
trapped,
must do
which is like,
something.
okay,
Cam,
W. Perry.
Get that poor fellow out of danger.
He's like, get
Well,
this
how?
guy out.
Use some of that famous American initiative.
I like that
Push
line.
him outside.
Won't they try
There-
it?
Right, you see what's wrong with Perry, bro? Like, why does he have to explain so much? He's like, use some of that American initiative. Push her out. Push the dude outside. Like, Help. She's like, well, what do I do?
Orders relate only to me.
What do
Now
I
move,
do?
Perry.
Move. Go. Before they show up. Look, she's taking her sweet ass time, bro.
Orders.
For once, will you forget the cross-examination and just go?
Like, you're wasting time. And they're here. And they're here. Thanks, Perry. We're nearing the end of the episode, okay? The doctor's trapped with Perry. That's his only companion. The TARDIS is being whooshed away right now by the master. Engineered this. Got the TARDIS being whooshed
I
away.
thought he was dead.
We could have ended the episode here, and I would have been like, peak cliffhanger. Peak cliffhanger.
Swan on the other hand, is about to...
Okay?
Human.
So?
They recognize she's human. This is like really
Talent to
cool
these
plot that's
geniuses
happening.
should be harnessed to a superior vision.
Trolley.
One false move.
The doctor tricks the master into convincing him to push him outside to see the TARDIS because he's like
Excellent. Feast your eyes, Doctor, on the
I love this scene. I love this scene so much. He's like, look,
Finito TARDIS. How's that for style?
he's trying to make him
Very
suffer.
clever. Optical illusion created on the screen. I've tried that, but never succeeded.
It's no illusion.
He's like, it's not an illusion, you dick.
He's not.
Believe me, I am. The Run is cleverer than any of us. She's managed to modify that scanner so it presents what's in the mind instead of what's happening in reality.
Ooh, he's clever. That's so funny.
Push.
He said push.
The trolley.
One false move.
That's so
where?
funny.
Outside.
No, he doesn't leave here.
I wonder how many weeks of work this represents and how many of the Doctor's precious humans have contributed.
So he convinces them to push him outside. So now they're outside. They can escape. They can escape easily.
I can't really see from this far away.
You can hear.
I gather they're going to throw it down the pit.
He said they're gonna throw my TARDIS down that pit. It's a long pit. It's a big drop. These guys are pissed. They're gonna shove it down the pit, bro. And they could have literally ended it here, and I would have been like, peak. They could have just ended the episode here. I would have been peak. The doctor literally tied up outside watching his TARDIS be thrown down the pit. They could have ended the episode right here. But no, the doctor fights back. He said, push, Perry! Push! What does Perry do? What does Perry do? Pushes him down a hill. She just pushes him. She just pushes him. Look at him. He's like, are you joking? What are you doing? What are you doing? Any other companion would be running with the doctor at the very least. Like pushing the thing, running with the doctor. I'm sorry, I blew out my mic there. I'm passionate about this. This is so peak. It's hilarious. They could have ended the episode just like this. And I'd have been like, so peak. By the way, Perry just lost like 2 points for this. What is her problem? The doctor made a brilliant opening and he said, push, Perry, run, let's get out of here. And she literally just pushes him away. But there's more. Now she's chasing after him in a skirt. In the biggest skirt. And the doctor's trapped, rolling down a hill, getting ready while his TARDIS is thrown in a pit. And look, it gets worse. You like, it does not get worse. These guys see him. And they could have ended it here and it would have been so peak. It would have been so peak. He gets caught immediately. He's like, oh, thank you. They hate him. They hate him because of the master.
Right, push lads, away we go!
He's pushing some more. Where do you think he's going? It's sending him down the pit. This all stemmed from Perry. And scene. That's peak. That's peak, man. Oh my god, this all stemmed from Perry. You can't tell me, you can't expect me to watch this episode. And the story's really good. I skipped over all the plot, right? It's really good plot. There's the doctor defeats two Time Lords at the same time. That's all I got to say about this story. Go watch it. Mark of the Ronnie. It's really good. And one of those Time Lords is the Master. It was really good. But you can't expect me to like Perry after that. You know what I'm saying? You can't expect anyone to like Perry after that display of chicanery. What did we learn today? I learned Perry is a bottom tier companion easily, but Colin Baker's stories are amazing. After this season, I'm pretty sure, or after the next season, the show gets canceled, goes on 18-month hiatus, but like all of Colin Baker's stories are like that. Like they're really good plots, interesting, bunch of action, good cliffhangers, but Perry is just dragging everything. It is ridiculous. Come join me on Twitch or join the conversation on Discord. If you made it this far, I definitely deserve a like on the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.